Hello and welcome everyone to the second episode on the Parahack Let's Learn Svelte series. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at reactivity in Svelte. Svelte has a powerful system of reactivity for keeping the DOM in sync with your application state. So on my screen is a very clear example of that. Right now, I have a button with an on-click handler right here that is going to run every time this button is clicked. We have this increment function. We will run every time we click on this button, and we have this state of count, and we are also outputting count, rendering the count in the button. So I can check the browser. So if you guys want to write this code down, you can write it down, and if you want to run your dev server, just I'll cut mine and run mine again. So you see the way I run man. It's npm dev, npm will be npm run dev, yan will be yan dev, one will be whatever. So just run this and execute it. It should spin up the dev server for you. Come out here and refresh this. You should get a similar result. Okay, the dev server wasn't running at that point. Yeah, you should get a similar result as this. Now I want you guys to go down in the comment section right now. Pause the video, go to the comment section right now and write down what you think would happen when we click on this button. Right, so we have this function that is pretty descriptive, increment, and right here we have count plus plus, which is just incrementing count. And we have an on-click handler right here, event handler, that would run this increment function every time we click on this button. So let's try that out. When we click on the button, it increments and it actually renders that and it's in sync. So we click on the button, Svelte knows this, it changes 0 to 1 because it has been incremented. So now 0 would be 1. And it also renders that and updates this via this right here. So it updates count here as well. So we click on the button again, Svelte catches that again. 1 turns to 2 and renders 2 right here. And it all happens in sync. So if I click, as you can see, we keep on incrementing and the state is being kept. So this is actually how we create states in Svelte or Svelte 5 using the state runes. But what about derived states? What if I want another state that is derived by the value of count at any given moment? For example, I can have count or doubled would be equals to states, and in here I want the double of count at any given moment. So I can just write in here count times this will be crazy times 2. And let me output the value of double right here. Now let's check that out in the browser. As you can see, we see 0, which is correct because 0 times 2 is 0. But what happens when we actually increment 0? 0 becomes 1, but the double still remains at 0. So if I change the state to begin at 2, doubled would be 4 because of 2 times 2 is 4. So let's take a look at this. Count is 2, double is 4, right? Correct. Now let's actually increment 2 or increment count. It becomes 3, but this doesn't double. So how do we actually get that to happen? Well, in Svelte 5, we have something called the derived runes. So I can just change this instead of me change count or change state to derived. Now the derived runes basically work similar to these dollar sign that we used to do in previously pre-Svelte 5. But now with runes we just do derived and then the state times whatever. But for doubled, it's going to be count times count. That's actually that actually makes sense for doubled. So if you're talking about doubling, it's count times count, not count times 2. Oh, isn't that the same thing? No, it's not the same thing. But now let's actually check this out. So 2 times 2 would give us what? 4. When we increment 2, what should we get? 3. But double this time would also change as well. Now as you can see 3, but 3 times 3 is 9. And if it changes to 4, 4 times 4 is 16. And that is just what is happening right here. It's multiplying count by count, and every time count changes, this caches a width of that and reruns this. One thing you must notice is that the expression inside the derived should be free of any side effects. Just take note of that. And we can also run arbitrary statements reactively. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but this is basically what we would call reactive statements in Svelte 4 or previously. I'll give you an example now. I'll grade of all this double now that I'll just have an effect run right here. I'll check if count is greater than or equal to 5. I'll just an alert count is greater or equal to 5. Now you guys know how terrible I am at spelling, so don't even be surprised at this point. Well, Reatr, I don't know. So I'll save that. And now what happens when count becomes 5 or greater than 5? Let's see. Back to the browser, refresh this. We have count as 2. Increment 3, increment 4 gets to 5. We get this alert telling us that count is greater or equal to 5. In our case, it's actually equal to 5. But as you can see, it caches a width of that. It knows we don't have to keep a dependency array because we have count in here, and count is a state run, and it knows that, and it keeps a check of count. And the second count goes above 5, and our expression is true. This alert gets run. So that's basically how we can do reactive statements in Svelte 5, but be very careful of using these effect runs. Use it wisely. Let's talk about updating arrays and objects. In Svelte 5, plain objects and arrays are made deeply reactive, meaning that this actually allows us to do a couple of tricks that I will show you guys in probably full-blown projects and all that stuff. But for this tutorial, I'll just give it like const or we use let in Svelte. Numbers is equals to state run. You know, this is very fun because I'm not writing this in a script tag. I was wondering why the color was looking funny. Yeah, state run, and I can have an array right here. I can have all the numbers like it's 1, 2, 3. Let's just go 3. Now, if you are used to using Svelte 4 or previous version of Svelte, what I'm about to do would actually shock you guys. So I can basically say numbers dot push, right? This array method like push pop, which you couldn't do in previous versions, are now possible. Now let me push something in here. I can just push pop, and let me log this out so we can actually see this. No, we don't. I'm not going to log anything out. I'll render it, look through it. If you don't understand what I'm doing right now, don't bother. I just want to have a better way for us to actually view this. And UMBER P, and I'll just render number. And I'll make this a lot nicer, but I have no button that we can actually click and add a new item to the array. Let's see, it will be numbers dot push equals to numbers dot length plus 1. Now get rid of this push above here, and instead of making these strings, I'll make these numbers. All right, save these and let's look at our browser. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3. When I click on this button, there's no text on the button. That's why it looks that. I'll just say click me to add a number. And when I click on this number button, we have 4 added. Click on this, we have 5 added. 6, 7, 8, 9. So cool things like this are possible on a whole lot more when it comes to runes and Svelte 5. So I hope you guys are really excited. Those of you that have used the previous version of Svelte would probably be stoked to see something like this working. That'll be all for this tutorial. On the next chapter, we're going to be taking a look at props in Svelte. So make sure you guys watch out for that. Subscribe, like this video if you like the video, and I'll see you on the next video. Remember, as always, I love you guys. See you.